Welcome, innovators and game changers, to Compete on Awesome with AI, your roadmap to harnessing AI power in your business journey. Imagine waking up tomorrow to find your industry completely transformed by AI. Exciting? Terrifying? Maybe both. But here's the thing, you don't have to navigate it alone. I'm Susan Frew, an entrepreneur and business owner just like you, and I'm here to be your tour guide through the world of practical, usable AI. Having built and scaled many businesses myself and saved $170,000 and counting from my budget for 2024, I know firsthand the challenges you're facing and the game-changing potential for AI that holds for all of us. In these episodes, you will join us as we explore AI tools you can implement today and boost your efficiency, how to stay ahead of the AI curve without breaking the bank. And we're not here to talk about science fiction fantasies. We're here for real, actionable strategies that you can use to compete and win in this AI-driven world today. So join us, whether you're a solopreneur working from the kitchen table or a CEO leading a team of hundreds. This is your guide to not just surviving, but thriving in the AI revolution. If you're ready to turn AI from a buzzword into your secret weapon, let's dive in and compete on awesome. All right, well, I'm going to clap my hands and we're going to get going. Bam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Compete on Awesome with AI. And my name is Susan Frew, your AI tour guide, teaching you all things AI from the best minds in the world. And I am so delighted to have Burton Kelso with us today. He is a genius AI cybersecurity specialist. He has been on national TV programs. He's done 2 TEDx talks, but I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself and about his programs and what he does, and then we will ask the questions that I know you are dying to know the answer to. So Burton, I'll turn it over to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Susan. Hey guys, I'm Burton Kelso, known as the technology expert. So at my core, I own a break-fix managed service computer company by the name of Integral, based out of the Kansas City area. But I'm also a national speaker, so I go around the country talking to businesses and individuals about cybersecurity, AI, and social media marketing. My goal in an era where computers have become more difficult, my goal is to get people to realize their dreams and hopes through technology, and including AI. So my motto is that I love technology. I've read all the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology fun, safe, and easy to use for everyone out there. Because isn't that the goal with technology, is to be a useful tool and not something that people fear?
Absolutely. And I feel that the more you can make it usable, like do this right now and it's going to make your life better, is the way that really resonates with audiences. Do you agree?
I agree completely, because I mean, I think there's so much fear and misinformation as far as technology is concerned. And so, one of the challenges, Susan, is that most tech guys out there don't know how to talk to people. So it's good to have people like ourselves that are able to break down that techno babble into everyday language and to guide people onto a path where they can utilize technology. That way they can become more productive and become more successful.
Absolutely, I 100% agree, because my feedback, and many of us use Talk where our audience will fill out a review for us and let us know. But what I see over and over and over again is that people say relatable, usable. Someone gave me a quote yesterday, which this is my first time delivering this quote, but I'm going to stick with it. She said, I have seen 6 AI presentations, and this 1 hour gave me more information than all of them combined, because I made it applicable to them, like to their work, like they're equipment distributors. So I did my research, put the program together, gave them tools as they could use, and they loved it. And you do the same thing. It's fantastic.
Susan, it's crazy, because I think I've gotten that same feedback where people have been through multiple AI presentations, and then finally, and this isn't folks, this isn't to brag on myself or Susan. It's the facts. You've got AI presenters out there that just don't know how to talk to people. And then luckily, hopefully, when you're in your AI journey, you will encounter somebody who's able to make common sense of the AI. Because the feedback that you get, I get the same feedback across the country. So it's sad, but folks, there's light out there. So, keep your dreams alive.
What's interesting too is, you and I have a tech background, so we understand, when we're listening to a podcast or watching a video, or Ethan Mollick is on X 800 times a day, and we understand everything he is saying. I listen to the podcast at 1.5 speed. And if I don't have my headphones on and my husband hears it, he's like, what are they talking about? Like, I don't understand them on regular speed, but now I really don't get it. So I think that people like us, we're synthesizers. But I do want to ask you a couple of questions that I get from my audiences, and I'm sure you get the same thing. And for me, I'm really curious about this too, because you are a cybersecurity expert and AI, and people are all worried about their information. So what advice would you have people about that? And what are your thoughts about AI security, if you will?
So one of the biggest challenges that I run into is that everyone is on the Chat GPT wagon. And so what I have to explain to people is that Chat GPT is only a brand name. There's
Mhm.
other AI tools out there, especially for businesses that are more secure. So if you were to sign up for a Chat GPT account, most people don't understand that Chat GPT is taking the information that you put into it and adding it to the collective. And in some
Mm.
instances, that's good because we're all contributing to training that AI bot. But in the interest of cybersecurity for a corporation or even a small business, there are certain things that you don't want to share with ChatGPT. So you
Mhm.
really have to investigate and find out tools that don't take your prompts and your data and upload it to the collective. And my two favorite tools for doing this is Google Gemini, which I know
Mm.
it's hard to believe that
Love
Google is not taking your prompt information and using it. Because I think Google's like, well, heck, we already got enough data and
it. Exactly.
we know how to build the database. So we're not going to steal it. And the other one, which I always call Chat GPT Mini, is Microsoft Copilot. In fact,
Yes.
Copilot will not even allow you to upload like your headshot. Because the big thing right now is the let's make my action figure using Chat GPT. But if you upload an image of anything, well, of a person, Copilot's like, sorry, we don't do that because we don't want to be responsible for that data. So businesses really need to find out which tools are going to help keep their information safe and secure rather than just being a lemming and jumping on the AI wagon and just going with ChatGPT because that's what Larry or Savannah said down the road.
I agree with you too. And I had that conversation just yesterday with someone who was concerned about security. They're a larger company. And I'm like, are you on Microsoft 365? Yes. Do you have Copilot enabled? Yes. Great. Because now you have a conversation with your IT department and keep that closed source. And I also recommend, I don't know how you feel about this, is the team version of ChatGPT if you are going to do it in a company. So number one, if an employee leaves, you still have all the things they were working on and what they're doing. And secondly, you're a little bit more closed source, but I always recommend Microsoft to people if that's their concern. So thank you for validating that.
Oh yeah, I know it's hard out there because a lot of people are on this Chat GPT wagon, and when you start throwing out the Geminis and the Copilots, people are like, "Well, we already use Office 365. Why didn't anyone tell us that we could utilize Copilot?" And Copilot, what a lot of people don't realize is that Microsoft is the one that funded Chat GPT. They were one of the major
Exactly.
contributors, and as you and I know, nothing's for free on the internet. So Microsoft's like, "We'll give you this money." But we want that technology because we're going to incorporate that into our own Office 365 space.
Well, they're still investors. And it's interesting, the clause that they have in their contract with OpenAI is like, when you reach AGI, then we're out. And I'm like, why would you do that? It's weird, but anyhow, for those of you who are listening who don't know AGI, AGI is basically when the computer starts thinking for itself, and everyone, all the players on the race to AGI. So, Burton, you mentioned Google Gemini a few times. I love Google Gemini because I love Notebook LM. I love Google Studio. I mean, I think it's one of the most impressive on deliveries of the last 2 years. Like Notebook LM just blows my mind every time. It's interesting because Google didn't start out of the gate very well. We were like, what are you guys doing? And you're right about them having data. And think about it, folks. Every time you log in and make it easy on yourself by logging in with your Gmail or your Facebook or your Microsoft account, you are giving data to the databases. And, that is a security concern. And they already have your stuff.
I know. One of the things that you're right about Google not coming out of the gate well, because I mean, they started out with Google Bard. And it's like,
Right?
what kind of name is that? Who in the
Yes.
marketing department came up with that? And I guarantee that was someone in the AI department that said, well, let's call it Bard, and they're like, no, we need to come up with something that's a little bit more dynamic. But the thing that I've liked is that Google has stuck with it. They've gone through the evolution process of making their chatbot reliable. They are on the edge of video, but also they've improved their image generation tool, which is what I really love. Same thing with Copilot. People always think, well, we can only create images in Chat GPT, but no, you can do it in Copilot, you can do it in Gemini. And Susan, I'm going to throw one out that maybe only small businesses would focus on. Let's talk about Meta AI and its Llama large language model. Llama
Mm-hmm.
and Meta ain't bad, especially if you wanting to get into graphics and video. Meta does an excellent job. But again, you have to be aware of what information you're uploading to Meta, because like Chat GPT, Facebook is notorious for stealing information.
Exactly. I like to use a program called chathub.gg. Have you used it?
No, I have not.
Okay, so you can put all of the AIs at the same time in there. So it has Grok, it has Meta, it has Copilot, it has Gemini, it has ChatGPT, all the versions. So first of all, if you're just doing work like research work, it's great because you can see all the data. You put one prompt and they all answer, and you can change. You can see 6 at a time. So I really like that because then you get to understand, but it really helps you to see the differences between the different ones and what kind of responses that you get. So if you're listening and you want to check it out, chathub.gg, don't do chathub.com because it is a porn site. And I do not want any emails from you telling me about that. I know I found this out in front of a 400-person audience when I said ChatHub, and the meeting planner met me at the back of the room.
Oh, that's crazy. Susan, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that we have to talk about in the aspect of security is knowing the URLs of your chat bots, because there is a bunch of fleeceware in the App Store for Apple and
Mm,
Google, and there's a
yes.
ton of fake Chat GPT sites. Real quick, I
Yes.
was on a virtual doing a virtual presentation with a group of real estate agents out of Canada, and I'm screen sharing, which I think is very important when you do AI presentations so that
Yeah,
people can
agreed.
see how to create your prompts. A guy raised his hand and said, why does my Chat GPT screen look different than yours? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, what website did you go to? And he said, I went to chatgpt.ai. It looked like ChatGPT, but one of the tell signs was the fact that there were ads running on both sides of
Mm,
his browser window. And I'm like, guys, no chatbot out there is going to have ads like you would see on a Yahoo or one of those clickbait websites. I mean, you got to know your URL. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I think a lot of people fall victim to fake apps and to fake websites saying that they are Chat GPT. So do your homework, people.
yeah, absolutely. I have a good friend was saying, why what, she did it on her phone. And I was like, that's not it. If it's not the white logo, then that's it. Like there's a green logo and a brown logo. I'm like, no, white logo only at OpenAI. So that's interesting. So tell us, you touched on it just a little bit there, Burton, because your expertise too is in cybersecurity, and we talked about having Copilot. What are some other things that companies and individuals can do in the age of AI to make sure that they are not getting scammed? Is there anything that you have a recommendation for?
Yeah, one of the things that you mentioned, Susan, was the fact that you need to have a team account with Chat GPT, which is very important because in today's day and age, there are people that are just sneaking in chatbots into the workplace. They want to enhance their skills. Maybe they think the company's AI policy is not up to par. So they sneak in and go to specific websites to do their chat, and they're uploading company secrets and putting the company at risk. So one of the first things that you need to do if you're even thinking about adopting AI is to set up an AI policy so that people understand
Mm.
what rules and what the implications are, because people just don't know. We gravitate towards AI because we think it's the great equator and the great fixer. You upload something to AI, it gives me solves my problem. That's what people focus on, but they don't think about the security risk of what information they're loading. So the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you analyze all your chatbots and find out which chatbot is going to work for your company culture and which one is going to keep your information safe and secure. That way you don't have people leaking out company information, and that way you don't have people leaving with prompts that your company could have used, and then using them for one of your competitors, or employees going into
Mhm.
business for themselves and using that information to run their own business.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of that too, because entrepreneurs now, if you want to start a business using all these AI tools, it makes it a lot easier because now you don't need a marketing department. You don't need a finance department. There's so many things that you can shortcut and hang your shingle. And that also cracks me up too. Like everyone's a speaker now too. Have you noticed that?
Oh my gosh. Don't start, Susan. Oh my gosh. Everyone's an AI expert. And I think if you're going to follow an AI expert, you need to look and make sure that you understand the words that are coming out of their mouth. If it's all over your head, then you need to back away from the monitor and find someone who's going to be able to help you navigate that labyrinth of AI.
Absolutely. So I have a slogan. I'll run it by you. Tech bros are out. Susan Frew is in.
I like that.
Feel free to use it, to be like,
Right.
yeah, I'm not a 20 something from Silicon Valley, but I have walked through the fire and the paces of entrepreneurship and business ownership. And I will tell you from experiential point of view and not just, from my head. So another interesting AI that you didn't bring up, and I'm just going to touch on it briefly, but Grok seems to be the one with no guardrails at all. You can have it create any kind of image for you with a text prompt, and that just blew my mind too. So, and that's interesting. Which AIs will stop you, and which ones won't? Like uploading your actual photos. So many of them, they're going to stop it right then and there. It's not going to work.
Yeah, Midjourney is one of those other ones you have to watch out for too, because you can upload any image, and those are the things that companies need to watch out for, to understand that. Yeah, if you don't want employee bullying or any of that stuff that can go on with image generation or video
Mm-hmm.
creation with AI, you have to be careful because Sora will allow you to upload any image, and of course, Sora is an offshoot of OpenAI, who makes Chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT. Obviously, Chat GPT allows you to upload any image and do anything with it. Google Gemini and Meta are kind of on the fence because they're more into the STEM space as far as
Mm-hmm.
generating content such as spreadsheets and websites and even programming. But again, that's one of the things that your company needs to really investigate to find out which ones are willy nilly and which ones are going to do a good job keeping your information out there. And one of the reasons I didn't mention Grok is because it's one of those, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's the wild, wild west. Do you really want to introduce people into that? Maybe say it's available, but at the same time, yeah, it's sky's the limit.
And that's why that Chat Hub has Grok in it. So and also has DeepSeek. So that also cracks me up because we all want to stay away from DeepSeek, but it's there's curiosity there. Like what are you going to get out of there? Like why is it so different? Why is it so popular? And then I guess Manus now another player is it sticking around? Is it going? Who the heck knows? But there's only so many you can watch and read, and probably like me, you subscribe to the AI news or whatever, and you see these podcasters that have a daily show every day, 30 to 45 minutes. Like what happens overnight while we're sleeping in the world of AI that we can have a whole 30-minute show every single day?
It's
So
wild. I mean, the other thing too that companies need to be aware of is just the different changes with all the chatbots. And I don't know about you, but I think in this day and age where AI is still in experimental mode, and people need to pay attention to this because every chatbot you go to says, hey, AI is experimental. So basically, go at your own risk. Yes, it can give you some decent information, but I always use this slogan when it comes to AI: trust but verify. So that
yes.
prompt of, hey, show me where you get this information. And one chatbot we didn't talk about was Perplexity. If you're doing
I
deep
love
research,
Perplexity.
Perplexity will definitely give you every website it looked at to so that you can verify the source material. But again, we know that everything that's on the internet is true, right? No, you got so you got to do your due diligence and do your research. So that's obviously very important too, because you don't want to appropriate somebody's intellectual property and then find yourself in the midst of a lawsuit. So do your due diligence always.
I do love Perplexity, and I love Claude as well. And you touched on something right there about information, what have you. One of the things when I'm doing a keynote, I have a link tree that I give out with a lot of information, and I put in there the new copyright law, right? But it doesn't address what you just said. What it does address is if I want to write a book and I am augmenting it with AI and gathering information and having it, rewrite for me or grammatically correct or what have you, you can still submit that work, that body of work for a copyright. But it doesn't address the Burton wrote something 10 years ago, Susan said something 5 years ago, and now it's all mushed together in a delivery after a prompt. That is not being addressed. And that is what everyone's concerned about. I mean, that's where the writer's strike came from and the actor's strike and all of that, because they are concerned about their intellectual property. And I've never considered myself like a scholarly type of writer, but people who are, I mean, they're rightfully concerned, don't you think?
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I think one of the things that we hadn't touched upon yet is that intellectual property that may be on your corporate website. So if you're looking for your how you've handled your SEO, or maybe there's like your company mission statement, or even you've got sensitive documents on your website, you need to get with your web developer because supposedly there's a way that you can stop AI chatbots from scanning your corporate website. And I understand there's like some coding that you can put in. I know on some
Mm.
websites, if you're a company that decided to do a site builder tool like Squarespace or Wix or even GoDaddy, you can just turn
Hmm.
off the internet, the allowing this website or certain pages to not be searchable on the web. And I would highly recommend businesses look into that feature because you may want to be an open book as far as a company, as far as your mission statement and things that you do. But do you want that information to wind up in an AI chatbot? So companies definitely need to look into that to ensure that their website or their intellectual property is not being uploaded to AI.
And that's another reason corporate policy, as you mentioned earlier, because that's something it needs to be in there. It needs to talk about what employees can and cannot do. PwC just put out a big study that they did, and they interviewed, dozens of employees and corporations across the United States. And what they found is employees were using AI without their boss's knowledge. So they were using it and saying they weren't using it, which is very interesting.
Wait
I
a
did my,
minute. I like the way you said that that was interesting. I'm like, come on, Susan. I mean,
I
I'm
know.
gonna sneak it in. I mean, if I think my job's on the line and I'm not doing a good job marketing, of course I'm gonna turn to an AI chatbot. And I'm not gonna let my boss know. I'm just gonna think, well, all of a sudden you've really given it
You're really smart.
120% now. What do you do? Well, boss, hard work and dedication. Come on, AI.
Well, it was interesting. I did my keynote twice yesterday. So the conference I was at was for HR and finance professionals in a certain industry. So I did the finance portion in the group in the morning, HR group in the afternoon. How many people are actively using AI? Finance people, like 5 hands go up. HR people all admitted. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Were the finance people like just afraid and not doing it, or were the HR people just, more realistic about the fact like this can really help me create SOPs? And but then I heard this. This is a story going around the media right now about those young college students who created the AI to do job interviews. And so the job interview is almost live and you have a screen telling you how to answer the questions. And they ended up getting these like killer, really high paying jobs, like they're not even out of college yet.
That is phenomenal. I noticed that in the HR space too. And then one of the questions that I ask when I talk to HR audience is, how many of you are paying for an AI chatbot? And of course, the hands stay up like, well, no, we're not paying for it. We're in the free version of Chat GPT, and it's like, oh my gosh, really? Good thing the IT guy is not there, or the CEO, because they're like, well, what the heck are you doing?
I have something that really does surprise me, though. How many people don't pay the $20 a month for the upgraded Chat GPT? And I'm like, okay, you can have a PhD level assistant for $240 a year, and you are not willing to make that investment. So
Right.
that sort of blows me away.
Well, I think part of it is our mindset too when it comes to tools on the internet. Like, and I think it boils down to social media. Well, you can download Facebook, Instagram, all the social media tools for free and get access to that stuff. Obviously, you're the product. So when it comes to tools like AI, then obviously it's the same mindset of, well, it's on the internet, it's free. Let me go ahead and do my account and use it. But the biggest challenges with AI, especially in the workplace, is if you're using the free version, the slowness of the responses from the chatbot, and also the outdated information that a lot of
Mhm.
chatbots have. Most people don't realize that Meta AI's internal database is only as current of June of 2023. And then ChatGPT, last time I checked, it was June of 2024. If you want current information, you've got to use prompts or enable the internet search in the Perplexity or
Mhm.
in ChatGPT, where it'll actually go get current data. Whereas again, Copilot and Gemini, it's up to date. It's like as of today, it'll let you know what the information is.
I do think I have a subscription addiction problem, though. I was thinking of starting a 12-step program because, you look at all the subscriptions you have, you're like, what? How did this happen? We're like, oh, do the free trial of that, do the 1 week trial of that. And then I have all these things on my calendar, cancel this thing or just make a decision. But it gets a little out of control after a while. But, these are the tools of our trade. So
Yeah.
it's important.
Yeah, Susan, I call it subscription itis. You sign up for a product and then you're like, okay, I'm going to use it 1 month. And then 24 months later, you're still subscribed to it. And you're like, still got the reminder on the calendar, like you said, I need to unsubscribe. So yeah, there's some chat bots I'm paying for. And it's like, yeah, I meant to cancel that because, but it never happened. So
Well, I want to ask, I want to move into another direction here real quick, because I think this is really important. And you touched on it several times. And I agree, this is the key to getting the best results in AI is prompting. How you prompt the AI and not treat it like a Google search.
right.
Um, and tell me your theory on it and your system, and then I'll share mine.
Okay, so I love the fact that you said a Google search because I read somewhere that most people that use AI chatbots are using prompts that are 9 words or less, where in reality, you should be using at least 21 words or more in your AI chat. But I think one of the things that people can do in today's world, especially now that tools like Chat GPT, Google Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot, oh, and Perplexity have the personalization and memorization tool. So I highly recommend people to go into the settings of their favorite chatbot and tell your AI chatbot a little bit more about you. Now, with Copilot and with Gemini, and I know we keep throwing these out there, it's already included. There's nothing you need to do in order to get this enabled. But in Chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT and in Perplexity, if you want to get more from your AI chatbot, you definitely need to go into settings and personalize it. Put information about you, what your role is, how you want your chatbot to react to you, and that's going to definitely kind of cut down some of the characters when you have to enter in your prompt, because you don't have to refresh it or tell it what role it needs to play. But at the same time, if anything, when it comes to AI, you have to be on your prompt game. And I always tell people, even if you're using it in a business setting, act like you've got Jeeves or Alfred the butler and start with improving things around your home. How do I unclog a drain? What help me meal plan for a week? Upload a photo of your refrigerator and tell it how to prepare or what meals it can prepare based on the photo. Start small with baby steps, and then you can start expanding your universe as far as using AI.
I found a really fun way to use AI last week. I have a thrifting problem. I love going on the treasure hunt of thrift store shopping, and I built an AI to go thrift store shopping with me. And it will tell you if it's a good deal, what have you. But I used the visual video on my AI online, my Chat GPT online, and I had three outfits hanging up, and I told the AI what I was doing. I had three keynotes. It was this one, this one, this one. I asked it live, interactively, what I should wear and why, and what should I pair with it. And it did the whole thing for me. It was so much fun. But I think that's like a great learning. Then the sky's the limit, because then I took that same system and went with a client in their manufacturing facility, and we were able to analyze the manufacturing process using that video prompts, and it was fantastic. But we just did it. I started it as a fun thing to do, and taught myself how to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge with a lot of people in the corporate world getting used to AI. We've got our day-to-day task, and we're really not able sometimes to step outside the box and see how we can allow AI to take that role. One example I can give is the language transition. There's a bilingual real estate association that I went to, and they're like, "Well, how can we use it?" And I'm like, "Well, if you're bilingual, why is the website all in English?" I'm like, "We've got a lot of
Yeah.
Spanish-speaking people. I know it's going to be hard to translate it. Copy that text, upload it to AI, and let it translate for you." So I think if we tell people that you need to start small and start in your daily life how AI can work, then it
Mhm.
will allow you to see how you can build upon it and help you work more efficiently in the business world.
One of my favorite language models is HeyGen, HUIGEN. So it's the avatars. So their avatars will speak in 29 languages. And so I've created my own avatar, and I have it speak in French, Italian, Chinese. It's just so much fun. But for a real practical use case, one of my clients has a manufacturing facility in Abu Dhabi, Mexico, Canada, right? So they now have QR codes on their machinery, or they will be getting QR codes on their machinery that's got those four languages. So wherever their equipment goes, people can just scan it and get the information in their language. And you can continue to do that. You can take training documents, upload them, take the video and translate it to other languages. And now it even has dialects.
That
You
is
know, like
incredible.
I know it. In the beginning, it didn't. Like I tried doing the Chinese one for my neighbor, and she said that wasn't right. But now there's like five different Chinese dialects, which is really amazing. So,
That
so
real quick, I was going to say that's great of your neighbor. You did the trust but verify with your
Yeah.
neighbor to make sure that it was right. I love it.
Exactly. One of the things about prompting, what I found, Burton, that a lot of people, as I said, we're just doing Google and they needed something to remember. So I created something called Plum, the persona, the language, how you're telling it, use examples, and then keep modifying it. And then I give them a handout because I found that that was where people were getting tripped up, is having that really long, concise prompt. And I also think that makes you a better leader because now you're describing better how you want things and not getting disappointed because you gave crummy instructions, right?
Right. And one of the other things I was going to say too, I was at a conference speaking. Lady was trying to create a logo for part of her weekly blog, and it was just the whole Google, create me a logo with this. And I'm like, no, you've got to be more descriptive. And I think we started off with Chat GPT, but believe it or not, we downloaded the logo that she had, uploaded it to Meta AI, and said, hey, can you work with this and make these changes? And Meta spit
Oh.
out exactly what she wanted. But it was the whole process of, number one, get your prompt game. But number two, realize
Mm-hmm.
that all AI chatbots have a limitation. So if one's not doing it for you, download what you have, upload it to another chatbot, and see if it can complete the task.
Yeah. I had an audience member say to me a few months ago, it seems like you spend an awful lot of time monkeying around with these programs. I do. Yes. And so do you, right?
Yes.
Because you have to like keep figuring it out. And the first try is not, do not judge it by your first try. I now have 17 videos in my PowerPoint deck. And the reason is because they're screen captures. And as I'm talking about something that I learned and something that I experimented with, I'm playing it so I can show people exactly how to do it. And some people are like, oh, yeah, I don't want to do that much work. Well, then you're not going to get the results. I will confirm that for sure.
Right. And I think what's important too is that if you are going to hear an AI presenter, in my opinion, and I'm sure you would agree, Susan, is that if they're not showing you actively how to use prompts during the presentation, then it's not going to be worth your time. So if it's in-house training or if you've been sent to a conference, make sure that your speaker is showing you how to create prompts. And that way you can get into the mindset of this is what I need to do in order to create what I want. Or else you're going to go into AI being frustrated because you're using crummy
Mm-hmm.
prompts and you're not getting the results that you want.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for joining me on Compete on Awesome with AI. Please tell our audience how they can get in touch with you, who's the best group for you to speak in front of, what your plans are, and then end it with this. What do you see in your vision of AI in this next year till the end of 2025? What do you think is going
Okay,
to
so
happen?
yeah, so if you want to get in contact with me, I'm at Burton Kelso everywhere. My website is burtonkelso.com, but I'm all over social media, even on TikTok. Not doing dance videos, but I'm sharing a little tech tidbit here or there. Audiences that I love speaking in front of are any industry where people are looking to empower their workforce to getting more out of AI. Doesn't matter if it's real estate, uh, whether it be residential or commercial real estate, law, medical, any industry, even agriculture would be a good industry because ag seems to lag behind when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to technology. Now, as far as where do I see AI in the next year, I think AI is going to improve more on the personalization aspect of each chatbot. You've already seen it happen with all of the AI tools that we talked about. But I think
Mm-hmm.
in the next year, you're going to be able to see that you're able to add more capability about yourself. So that way, it's a lot easier for you to enter those prompts and allow your AI to know exactly what goals you have. Because I know for some people, they wear many hats. And so it's hard for them to go to a chatbot and say, well, I do this, I do that. And sometimes chatbots get confused, but I think you will be able to let AI know many roles as opposed to one role. And that way you can ask a question about anything that you're an expert at, and AI will be able to enhance that and take it to the next level. One other thing, I think video among the AI chatbots is going to be universal. We've got Sora out there. There's little tidbits of video that you can create with Meta AI, but you'll see Google Gemini and obviously Microsoft Copilot jump into the video creation process, because one of the big tools that you can use AI for is marketing. And marketing would not be complete without some video creation. So see that rise in all of the chatbots over the next year.
And agent is going to be a big word. And speaking of video, I had this video in February, a little slice. I did a presentation on site at a client, and I took my hour-long video, we sliced it into 30-second things and pushed it out. It got 3.8 million views on agents. And so you never know, right? And that's going to be the next thing. The agents are going to be helpful, but we need to be cautious with them too.
I agree. And obviously you've got, you'll see more, obviously Chinese-based AI tools popping up in the marketplace. You've got DeepSeek, and then Kling. I don't know if you've seen Kling video from China.
I haven't not.
Oh, Kling is basically the Chinese version of OpenAI's Sora. You should look up Kling, Kling.
Okay, on the docket for today.
Yes, exactly. The videos from there are phenomenal. So check it out.
I'm going to give it a whirl. Burton, thank you so much. For our audience, I will be putting Burton's website and information on how you can reach him in the show notes. My goal is someday to be speaking at the same convention or same event with you, so we get to meet each other in person, so that would be really fun. And thanks again for sticking with us here on Compete on Awesome with AI.